Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Chub. This is the first ever live recorded Chub.
Wait,
That's weird.
I gotta tweet the live link out,
shit.
bro.
Yeah, tweet the live link.
We are live tweeting from our own show right now.
Live tweeting, responding to chat as chat demands it.
Yes. Did you tweet your link?
Not to this.
You did.
Oh, my
your
stream
Twitch
link. Yeah.
link.
Yep.
That's what I meant.
Yep. We are today, Isaac. Today we are talking about Anthem and live service games.
Yes, mostly live service games on my part.
Yes.
I've never played Anthem.
So
or heard
I wrote a couple notes down because Anthem is a doozy. Anthem is a doozy.
That is his. What's that called? What are those serial kill? Manifest. Your manifesto.
My manifesto.
Yeah, that's your manifesto.
This is Anthem's manifesto, not my manifesto. That's still being written.
Yes.
But
don't read it. It's banned.
So we'll start talking about. I want to say BioWare, which is who made Anthem.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else have they made? They made other.
They made Mass Effect, KOTOR.
Okay. So their one claim to fame.
I believe they made.
Jeremy said, "Crinkle louder."
Crinkle louder. Hey, crinkle me, Jeremy.
Yeah, crinkle
me.
is junk.
Sorry,
Jeremy.
I had to lower the threshold, man. But BioWare made Anthem, and they also before that made Mass Effect Andromeda.
Wow.
Which was he met with critical panning and audience panning. Everybody hated it.
Gotcha.
They we're kind of looking for a redemption here with Anthem. Now,
let's just say here, whenever a video game studio is looking for a redemption, do they usually achieve that? No.
I'll lower your threshold. Yeah, when they're looking for a redemption, yeah,
it usually gets worse.
It helps if they have a good creative vision in mind.
Which most people don't.
But with Anthem, they didn't.
Right.
They actually did not know what the studio as a whole did not know what game they were making until the reveal trailer hit in 2018.
That's fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
So Jason Schreier wrote an article on Kotaku before he retired about Anthem, and it's just a horribly troubled production.
Yeah.
Different groups were working on different things, all like as separate parts of like a bunch of different games.
And then they thought they were just going to be able to.
And then they just didn't have a unified creative vision in mind, and that is lent to a lot of people leaving the studio. Major players in the studio, people who wrote those games like Mass Effect and KOTOR and even I think Baldur's Gate was made by them. I think
Baldur's Gate.
But Kotaku, no, fuck you, Jeremy. Fuck you. It's important to realize that not everybody's perfect. Studios aren't perfect, and it's also important to realize who their publishing company is, which is EA.
Oh, yep. There you go. Well, we know where the blame goes.
It's real interesting to think about because EA does have a track record of destroying studios.
Absolutely. Like, everything they touch, they literally have like the dead touch. Everything they touch dies.
Yeah.
Everything they touch dies.
And it's one of those things where you gotta there's multiple aspects you gotta think about. Is it just a lack of a unified creative vision? Is it poor management? Is it pressure from investors, EA's side?
I think when it comes down to those big publishing companies like EA, can say the same about Activision. They are looking. They have that episode of SpongeBob where Mr. Krabs, his eyeballs turn into money signs, like dollar signs. No, that's what it is though.
Yeah,
they care about what's gonna make them money in the shortest amount of time, which is usually sales.
Yeah.
Sales and early release microtransactions.
Yeah.
But not any. They're not good at looking long term down the road, you know.
Yeah.
And Activision and EA are both prime examples of this because they are both companies that rely on the annual release.
I mean, companies do just in general, especially publishers.
Right, but I'm saying like from a company point of view, like when you're used to only having to get from 20 to 21, 2020 to 2021, games are changing, man. People want to be able to play the same game for 2 or 3 years now, not play a new version of the game every single year. And I think there are a lot of publishing companies that are having a hard time adjusting to, because they, in their budget, they have relied on that annual physical sale. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether that be of Call of Duty or FIFA or Madden.
Well, I mean, they're starting to adjust.
They're getting there. Absolutely.
They're having their
but it's growing pains.
Live service games, which is what I'm trying to get out here about Anthem, which is Anthem was made with no true vision. It was actually called it was codenamed Dylan when they were working on it. They were supposed to be the Bob Dylan of video games, what they were saying. Which, what the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck does that even mean? You go.
Oh shit!
You start off having such grand visions for something, which of course that makes sense. If you're a creative, obviously you want the best for whatever you're making. But they didn't have a true idea of what the game was outside of loose concept.
Yeah.
They wanted to make a game that was like Mass Effect,
but not really.
But not Mass Effect.
Sounds like a great concept.
So, anyways, that is Anthem. When it was revealed in 2018, it had one of the coolest reveal trailers ever. One of the coolest reveal trailers, in my opinion. You see these things called javelins, the suit that they're in. They're flying around. They're in this just magical landscape, and they're fighting guys, and it looks so cool. You're basically Iron Man.
Yeah.
But Destiny.
That's your Destiny Iron Man.
Your Destiny Iron Man. And that.
Destiny.
It looked fucking cool.
Yeah.
It looked fucking cool. But the idea that the game did not have a true vision until that trailer came out just blows me away.
Yeah.
Because some fucking maybe a trailer studio. I don't think that's really how that works, but somebody took that and put that together, and then BioWare was like, "Oh shit, okay, we got to make this in a year."
Yeah, which is so hard
because the game came out a year after that trailer was
right. Because like the father company, the publishing companies can have an idea, but you have to have developers to tell you whether or not that's possible in their time frame. You can't just say, "Oh, we need this in a year," like because.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, like, you can't have the publishers just saying that we need this. Well, I guess how game creation works when you have a big publisher over your head is the publisher will, let's go, my food's here.
It doesn't work.
The publisher will send somebody over, and it'll maybe be like a higher level executive. In this instance, it was, I believe, the CEO of EA at the time, Andrew something, I forget what his name is.
Garfield?
Andrew Garfield. Publisher don't give a fuck. Yeah, I agree, they don't give a fuck.
I like how Jeremy said he had nothing to contribute to this conversation.
He just would have been saying that, but here. They sent somebody over to play the demo, and this was before the E3 reveal.
Yeah.
Before they had any idea what the game was. And they had a rough concept put together. They had I don't believe they had any of the flying, except for like a small portion, because that's what Anthem really consists of in the open world, was you would fly around and shoot shit.
Right.
And this CEO at the time was like, put more of the flying in the game, which the fact that he just came in there and was like, do this.
Yeah.
Imagine that lording over you. You're trying to develop an idea for a game.
That's what I'm saying. I think
so this is where we come into the issue of releasing a game with not a true vision during the entire building process, and then after the fact, once you release it, then developing your vision, and everybody's like, well, what the fuck? What did I pay $60 for? I'm gonna make this live service so that way you guys can come back for the content we're gonna release later on.
Well, and because the problem with that is the way that the creative process works is that you kind of have like a rough vision when you start, and then as you do things with it, whether it's anything, movies, video games, literal physical art, music, whatever, your vision changes as you go. As you develop that idea, that vision changes and evolves. Mm-hmm. So when you have that vision set in stone through a physical trailer before you even have a chance to like really truly work on it, that's a problem. Like it's like trying to do the creative process in reverse. Which doesn't work. It doesn't work.
And like I said, that there were many studio heads leaving at the time from BioWare. Mark Dara, who was a lead creative director, I believe, left like a month before the game came out. Fucking Casey Hudson, who was a huge influence on the Mass Effect series, Mass Effect trilogy, the original Mass Effect trilogy, left like, I don't know, 6 months before the game was out. So it's just they had so much turnover. Major turnover, not just like, you know, low level graphic designers or whatever leaving, going to another studio.
They had
major turnover,
right?
Creative,
leadership roles,
management, leadership roles leaving. So you know that disrupts the entire creative process when you have to get all these people on the same page with what you're making. You get a live service game because when you can't create something in a time that a publisher wants you created in, you have to make it live service. You have to, and then you give the publisher their constant state of income, their fortnight, if you will.
Right.
That's what they're hoping for. They're hoping to hit it big, like Fortnite.
Of course they are, but Fortnite's such a fluke, man. I mean, that is so like.
I disagree. I think it's been replicated in like Warzone.
Once in a life. I don't know, man. I don't think that there's the same environment surrounding I think Warzone is good. I think it has a lot of players that, you know, obviously had the Call of Duty draw to it. There were a lot of Call of Duty players who were like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'll play that. Fortnite was nothing, bro. There's no name recognition. There's no company recognition. There's nothing. You have no credibility to your game whatsoever, and it was just a phenomenon.
It was good.
Right, absolutely. It was good. I mean, it still is good to the right people, but, you know, a lot of people fucking... Jeremy's gonna be so mad that you're eating on fucking in the episode that he's not here for.
What did Jeremy say? Hold on.
You better get your food before I steal it from your doorstep.
Fuck you, Jeremy.
But you know, that's what made it special. That's what made it unique. That's what made it different from every other popular game. Is they did it without leeching players off of the credibility of their title. Whereas Warzone, you know, is coming from the most well-established, one of the most well-established video game franchises of all time.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's what makes it different to me. That's why I look at Fortnite and saying that's probably not going to happen again for a really long time, to that extent, with the same context. Mm-hmm. There will be other popular games, although maybe not in the next couple of years, but...
So, all these people leave BioWare.
Yeah.
Anthem comes out. Abortion.
Yes.
Just
my favorite.
Panned. Horrible. BioWare's lowest review score ever.
Really? Not surprising.
I believe 55 on Metacritic.
Wow.
Which is surprising that it's even that high. I think people got vibes of a decent concept.
Right. But you can have a good concept without having a good product. Your product and your concept are not one and the same. They don't even have to really overlap. You can have a good Justice League. Justice League is a prime example, or not Justice League, BVS. Batman vs Superman had a lot of really good concepts, but the end product was ass. It was fucking donkey shit, which we will talk about here in a couple weeks. But your concept can be good, and your product can still suck.
Yeah,
and
that's normal. I mean, that's normally how it goes.
Yeah.
More things are getting made now than ever.
Yeah, because people are
in
just
general,
like,
because there are more people than there have ever been. There's more money going around than there's ever been. So you're getting people who wouldn't necessarily get the funding for their good ideas that also don't know how to manage a project.
Right. Absolutely.
And you're not always gonna make gold. Sometimes you gotta make shit.
Not everything can be a gold mine, and sometimes you have to produce that shit to raise money for good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like there are a lot of things that did that.
Yeah.
You know,
but more money doesn't always necessarily mean good thing.
No, but it does in some cases.
They threw a fuck ton of money at Justice League, and what'd you get? Big piece of shit.
But how much money are they going to make? They are going to make.
I'm talking about 2017's Justice
right.
League.
But they're going to continue, despite making a second cut of it. Again, we'll talk about this more in detail a couple weeks. They're going to make a significant profit off of that, enough to fund a bigger, better project, which is exactly what they're going to do. That's exactly what Star Wars did, dude. They took the money that they made off of the sequel trilogy, and they immediately funded and produced the best bit of Star Wars content to date. And you know it funded all of the stuff that's coming up, too.
Yeah.
Everything. Every bit of it.
Yeah, because they made $3 billion on just the first two.
Yeah, but I just don't think we've seen that turnaround in video games yet. I think we're still in the we're producing a whole bunch of shit phase.
Well, I mean, they just started making as much money as they're making now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, now, Activision last year made like $3 billion on Warzone, dude.
Right.
Fortnite made $3 billion in the first like 3 years it was out.
Yeah.
So,
which is crazy. That's fucking nuts.
And you see EA gets wind of all this stuff, sees that they have nothing to compare.
And they said, how can we make this worse?
They said BioWare. They said, BioWare, can you make us a co-op game that will be live service and you can add shit to it later and it'll keep players around? And BioWare said,
beep, beep, beep. For those of you who can't hear the microwave.
BioWare, that was me leaving the studio.
Oh, BioWare said
I'm fucking leaving.
They hit the WOA real quick.
Wow. BioWare said I'm fucking leaving, and this is absolutely not what I ordered, but
you know what? You're gonna eat it.
I'm gonna eat it anyways.
Jeremy, nothing like you're already making Jeremy mad by eating. Like,
this is not at all what I ordered, dude.
But if you waste it, if you don't eat it, he's literally gonna come here right now, kick in your door, and eat your butt.
This is now a food review podcast.
Yeah, the Chub is a food review podcast now. Let's talking about how shitty Domino's pizza is.
This is just a Jeremy-centric episode.
We're gonna do all the things that Jeremy wants to do. Imagine ordering DoorDash, not getting the correct food, then reheating it in the microwave.
Bro, it was fucking cold. What do you want?
Yeah, he only left it sit at the front porch for half an hour.
Okay, hold on. It was like a minute. Anyways, so you got Anthem flopped. Well, they see the writing on the wall. They're like, "Fuck, we messed up."
Let's make a sequel.
Casey Hudson actually comes back.
Yeah. And
then leaves again. So he came back, worked at the studio for like a month, I think, after Anthem came out, and was like, "All right, we got to get this shit back on track. We're gonna work on the next big expansion. We're gonna Taken King this like Destiny did.
Yeah.
Where you take some of the groundwork of the game and you just improve upon that.
Yeah.
And you expand upon it, and you focus the game. Because one of the problems with a lot of these live service games is that they don't feel focused. There's no core theme to the game.
Oh, There is a consistent core theme. Make money.
No, but that's not a theme of the game. That's a financial theme.
Don't tell them that.
No. So you have this game, Anthem, that you can't even focus on anything to its core because there's such a cobbled together skeleton of a game there.
Yeah.
You can't even
mossy cobblestone.
Yeah. Imagine being the only viewer. Imagine that, Jeremy. Imagine.
Are you our viewer from Lithuania, Jeremy?
He's got a VPN. He's too cheap to fucking buy a VPN. Did you see how much that shit was?
It was $80 for the first year. It's not too bad.
And then?
I'm saying if we got a quad together, it would be $20 for a year of playing Warzone in good lobby.
True.
I'm just saying, and I would pay that. I would pay $20.
Wait.
Opera has a free VPN. Fuck off, Jeremy.
Oh shit, maybe it is him. Anyways. So when Casey Hudson comes back, they start planning this thing called Anthem Next, which is supposed to be the Taken King of the game.
Yeah.
The Taken King of Anthem.
And they had a really creative title. They said, okay, if we're going to have like the next thing.
Next.
What would be the next thing? Next. So that's the title.
Then like a month later, Casey Hudson leaves.
Yeah.
Well, they're still planning Anthem Next. Their community manager leaves, and everybody's like, okay, well, this game is just like dead on arrival. Like, there's nothing going on here. Live service, or like dead service, because there's nothing going on.
For reference, I wouldn't consider myself a hardcore gamer or anything, but I play a fair amount of video games, and I feel like most of our video game discussions, I am pretty, aware. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I haven't put a lot of time into the game, I know kind of what's going on. Prior to this being brought up 3 days ago, I had never even heard of Anthem at all, to any extent.
Which is really interesting, because it was a colossal and well talked about failure in the gaming industry, because it came from a studio like BioWare. Granted, they just released a stinker. Yeah. Given how they were considering it's wrong. It's pretty fucking good. It's Qdoba, so it's hard to make it bad. But, I mean, like I was saying, this was their redemption, and they fucked it up. So, I mean, we see now Anthem Next, because of a recent investor earnings call, is canned. EA canceled Anthem Next. They must not have liked where it was going, or the player base is just so dead now. Or
they were just like, wow, we have nobody left to work on the actual game.
Yeah, I mean, that was another thing. It's like they have main BioWare, which is BioWare Edmonton, and then BioWare Austin, which is the one who worked on the Star Wars: The Old Republic game.
Yeah, still works on it. It's still relevant.
They had the team at Austin, I believe, was working on Anthem Next mostly, and they have the main studio, which is Edmonton, who was working on the next Dragon Age and was actually going to be making it kind of a live service game like Anthem, which is what their initial idea was. Their initial goal was to do that. That's what they were saying, and everybody was like, why the fuck would you do that? And so now they've actually restructured the game to make it single player. Single player experience.
As Dragon Age probably.
As Dragon Age should be, and I can't even believe they were considering making it a live service game.
Cannot for the life of me understand why game developers, game publishing studios, whatever, can't find the middle ground between full-blown multiplayer and single player. People don't fucking want to play with 9 random people. They want to play fucking co-op.
Yeah.
They want to play co-op. They want to play with 3 other people tops.
Which topical to the stream, Outriders, I was just playing that, feels like that. Feels good to play co-op.
That's the vibe that I was getting from it.
It feels like a single player game that you can play co-op.
Which is how it should be.
Unfortunately, because of the way that it's presented, at least in the demo, I don't think it's going to be very popular. Which, it's sad because it's deep. It is fucking deep. I can tell playing it for an hour and a half now that it's got a lot to offer. but I think people aren't going to be able to get into the concept because the introduction is long. It takes a minute to get to the point.
From what I've seen you play today, it feels like the concept would work better in like the context of a well-established franchise. Something that people kind of already get the premise of and don't need to be drawn into that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not saying it has to be Fallout, even though I think Fallout would benefit significantly from co-op. But we
don't talk about
that style of single player game.
Stop. Nope. We don't talk about it.
I'm just saying, just like a single player game that everybody knows and loves. It doesn't have to be that. It can be fucking whatever. It can be GTA. It can be I don't know, all the other single player games that I suddenly can't think of off the top of my head. But,
So, what is next for gaming? Right now, we're in a weird spot.
Yeah.
It feels like studios are starting to realize they can take time. What do you say?
The authentic
destruction. The anthemic destruction of BioWare.
But he spelled destruction wrong.
Destructin.
Yeah, what's next?
What is next?
Anthem next.
Because nope, canceled. What is next for gaming as far as like because right now I think we're at a kind of a turning point as far as publishers acknowledging studios' need for time.
Yeah.
Because now they have the money to wait.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think that in the terms of the big studios, the big publishers that we all know and love, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. That's what I think. I think that's how it's going to start. But I think that's going to open the door to smaller studios to open up and, do live service in a good way. I'm not... Mm-hmm. I'll use Phasmophobia as a really shitty example because that's a game that is more or less live service. It was released
early access. It's not released yet.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
It's not the same.
You know what? Can you just kiss my ass for just 2 seconds?
It's not the same.
All right. What about Valheim? Valheim is a finished game. It's not.
No, it's not. It's in early access. It says it on the Steam page.
Okay, but like, if you want to take that route, Fortnite was in early access for like the first year it was out.
It's still technically in beta.
Well, who fucking cares about technicalities? Fuck your technicalities.
It even says it on the game.
I'm just saying it's gonna open the door for smaller studios to come out and make entertaining games that people like and people will spend money on. That's what I think.
I think it's been that way for a little bit though.
Right, but I'm saying
you got Fall Guys, you got fucking.
But you have that quality.
Valheim.
You have that quality of content getting better. It's not just these shitty indie games anymore.
I mean, early access has been seen as to allow that kind of stuff for a while.
But it's growing, is what I'm saying. It's growing.
Now that'll always grow.
It's growing because people are gonna prefer that at the end of the day.
No game will ever be fully released. It'll all be permanently be in beta. Well done, Jeremy. You've learned how to not type.
Be permanently be in beta. But I think that...
You're wrong.
I think that there's just going to be a bigger platform for those smaller games. I think. Because
the big turning point for that was the PS4 and Xbox One release.
Right, but I'm talking about
that was when they started getting those indie games on their platform.
I'm talking about strictly... people wanting something different than the shit that they're being spewed from big developers. Just strictly from a attention point of view. You can take all the fucking technicalities out of that. People want, right now, a fun, entertaining game that they can play with their friends. Valheim proves that. Valheim proves that you don't have to have a 4K fucking beautiful looking, developed, graphically perfect game. Mm-hmm.
I think Minecraft proved that.
For people to pour money into it, enjoy it. Fuck off. But like Minecraft...
Minecraft proved that.
But people over the age of 20 who have never played Minecraft before are not going to be like, oh, I'm 25. I'm going to play Minecraft for the first time ever.
I disagree. I think that's one of the most accessible games.
I promise you right now, if I had never played Minecraft right now, even if everybody was like, come on, bro, let's play Minecraft, I'm going to be like, no, that looks fucking stupid. I'm not going to play it.
The only reason you wanted to get Valheim was because I was like, hey, you heard this game Valheim?
No, that's bullshit. I literally said, oh, look at this. It's on the front page of Steam. What is this? I'm the only one other than Chris Rierick and Chris Higgins, the Chris's, who've played it. So, lick me, first of all.
I brought it up.
Whatever.
I brought it up.
But it's a cooler concept. You're a fucking you're a wager to Odin. That's cool as fuck.
I mean, you're getting more,
and it's not.
Like I said earlier, you're getting. Bro. There's more money than there's ever been in the game industry. There's more games than there's ever been in the game industry, and because of that, you've got companies like EA that maybe are a little bit more cautious with wasting their money now because they have flops like Anthem.
They're not cautious about spending their money because Anthem was a flop. They're cautious.
I disagree.
They're cautious about spending their money because it takes money out of their pocket. That's all it comes down to. It's corporate greed.
Yeah, and I think that they're cautious because they took money out of their pocket and essentially burned it.
I don't like the word cautious because it makes it sound like they're doing it for our own good.
No, they're doing it for their own good.
Yeah.
Why did cautious isn't no? It's not inherently selfless.
But anyway, it's gonna get worse before it gets better because that's just how it works with video games, bro. That's how it's always worked with every video game problem ever. Remember when Call of Duty insisted that it needed to be like Titanfall, jumpy, shooting around, and everybody said, "Hey, don't do this," and it felt like it couldn't get worse, and then they just they had to release just one more shitty jump around Call of Duty game before they were like, hey, what if we just go back to boots on ground? And now it's a fucking hit. Who would have guessed?
Well, now the problem is, I mean, that's more so like.
But I'm just saying it's an example of how it's gonna get worse one more time before it starts to go. Whoop.
Yeah.
It always dips before it lifts.
Okay, so then that means, based on that logic, BioWare's next game is going to be a masterpiece.
I bet it is. There are a lot of people who have speculated, Jeremy, plug your ears, who have speculated that they might take over the reboot of KOTOR. There are a lot of people who think that they would take over some of the other stuff in Star Wars, because I think
I don't think you want BioWare to take over because there's none of the original like major leaders out there.
I'm not saying independently. Like they're the only company that's going to get to have Star Wars.
Well,
Star Wars.
Okay. Lucas, but you were saying KOTOR.
LucasArts is not going to do the shit that they did with EA ever again. I'm saying KOTOR, yes, because I think they have other. So KOTOR is a project, and then they have a bigger open world Star Wars RPG that's another project.
So you're saying they want BioWare because they made it at one point to do it again?
Yeah, to do KOTOR again, not the big open world one, just KOTOR 3.
Yes, but why? Just because they made the other ones, it's not even close to the same studio it used to be.
I'm not saying it is.
So then why would you want them to do that? Plus,
I didn't say I want them to. I'm just saying that's the speculation that I...
Yes, but it just doesn't make sense. I get it. People want that.
A lot of things.
The reason it's been speculated is because people want that. But they're not taking into account the fact that pretty much half of the leads of the studio left when Anthem was being produced.
But I'm just saying, like, nothing in that realm makes sense. Game Freak. Game Freak has been designing Pokemon games for how many years now? 5 years?
Since the year 2 BC.
Yeah, and their biggest complaint is a lack of innovation over 25 years. Of course there's a lack of innovation. The same company's been developing the game for 25 fucking years.
Well, you know why?
But it's going to be the same shit.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Nothing was wrong with KOTOR 1 or 2. So they're going to say, okay. They don't care that it's different people. They're going to say, BioWare.
Yes, but I'm saying it's not going to have the same feel because they do not have the same feel.
I know it's not going to have the same feel. I'm just saying that is a project that could potentially be redeeming for them. But it could also break them even further because Star Wars
I believe the new Dragon Age is going to come out first, though.
Oh, probably, because all the Star Wars games are still in, like, pre-development.
They've already confirmed they're working on another Mass Effect, a direct sequel to 3.
Yeah.
Which...
I don't understand how that works because aren't we on like Mass Effect? Like
7? Well, so it's Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, then Andromeda, and then which was not a mainline game in the series. It was actually a prequel to the original.
Okay, I haven't played any of them.
They're all right.
Yeah, I haven't heard great things about them.
They're okay.
BioShock is a game.
They're known for their romance options.
Oh, that's wonderful. If I want romance options, I'll just play Fable.
I think it's interesting to look at companies like EA and look at companies like Nintendo and kind of contrast the two, because Nintendo has been pretty much doing the same shit for the past 40 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They just figured out what internet is.
Yeah. But at the same time, I will say that the quality of the major stuff that they produce has not dipped to the same extent that the shit that EA has. Because it's two separate things. Nintendo has taken the if it ain't broke, don't fix it route. Mm-hmm. EA has taken the pump as much shit out as possible as fast as you can and don't really care what the end product is until it's too late approach. And so EA has kind of been, in a rocky position, whereas Nintendo just ain't steady. They're not doing great, but they're not doing bad either. You know what I'm saying?
They even actually took their heads took pay cuts at one point.
Yeah.
To keep the company afloat.
But I think they've done really well with the Switch. I think the Switch was a really, really good.
Well, yeah, it had to get worse before it got better.
Move for them.
They went Wii, which was.
They were like, we need 6 DSs before we can come out with a new console.
As much as Wii Tennis is fun, the Wii is not a good console.
No.
The Wii U, even worse. Don't know how you fucked that up even more.
It was unique, and the Wii U had some good features. It was cool if you were playing Mario Kart solo and you didn't have to actually be on the team.
But it had to happen so the Switch could happen.
Absolutely, it was a stepping stone. It was a stepping stone.
Absolutely.
And the problem with the Wii U is okay, so the Wii had Wii Sports and shit, and there were things that drew you to that console. Mm-hmm. It had Mario Kart, Wii. And then the Wii U didn't really have. They were like, oh, here's Mario Kart again, and it was literally the same thing. There wasn't a drawing factor to the Wii. Whereas the Nintendo Switch had a lot of possibilities because everybody immediately was like, we're getting an open world Zelda game. We're going to get open world Pokemon games. We're going back to GameCube level Nintendo console gaming. And people were excited about that. And rightfully so. I think so far it's done pretty well. And they have a lot of room to grow. I would say their phase right now with their consoles is the OG Xbox, which means that, they're only going to get better and better and better until they're up there. I don't think they'll be up there to the same extent. But, they're already talking about the next iteration of the Nintendo Switch is going to have 4K capability, that's impressive for a Nintendo console. It doesn't seem as impressive because we've seen it in the PS4 and the Xbox
It's
One
impressive
now.
For a game that just now has a console with the or a company that just now has the console with the capability of doing 1080p. Because the Switch is the first one of their consoles that can do 1080p.
Yeah.
Except for the Wii U, I believe if it was plugged in and on your TV, it was 1080p, but not on the remote.
But it's still
it's not as impressive in context of other companies.
But I think the problem is we have to just stop comparing them to the other companies because they're just not the other companies. I don't think they have the desire to be the other companies. I don't think they want. I don't think that's
they've shown
their
that.
vision.
They've shown
that's
that
fine.
They don't care.
That's fine. I have learned to just respect Nintendo for what they are, and that's just different. They want that arcade style, sit at home and play leisurely. Mm-hmm. They're never gonna be an esport. Outside of Smash Bros.
They want couch co-op.
Yeah, which is fine. That's fine.
No, that's great because I'm sick and tired of companies stepping more and more away from that. Granted, I like playing games online with my friends, but there's something different about playing it with them at your house, sitting on the couch.
There was some nostalgia about it. It was. I don't want to say comforting because it sounds like we love each other or some shit, but it's. I don't know. There's an aesthetic about it that is.
I thought you did love me.
Well, only your butt. There's just an aesthetic about it that is appealing to people who want to be able to sit back and have a good time and not have to feel like they're on the edge of their seat, grinding for 4 hours straight. You know what I'm saying?
That's where games are right now, and it's awful.
Yeah, everything is a grind fest, dude. And I called that with Destiny 2 and the original Fortnite. The original Fortnite, like Save the World, because both of those games came out close to the same time, and they were both just like grind fest, dude. You just had to play and play and play, and if you fell behind, you couldn't play with your friends anymore.
Yeah,
you couldn't. It was impossible, and that's where Warzone's at right now. You can't play unless you.
That's more of like a competitive landscape,
right? But same concept of if you don't put in the time, you're gonna fall behind.
But competitive games have kind of always been that way, right? You're not gonna just come back and play Counter-Strike.
But you used to have the option. You used to have the option to not have to play with that class of people. You used to have league play and fucking ranked versus unranked.
I mean, you do have league play still, but just not in games like Warzone.
No.
You do have ranked in those games still.
Okay, you have Call of Duty League, but who fucking
But that's not really like what we're talking about. We're talking about the game. The core of the game is just grindy.
Yeah.
Like Destiny, the core of the game is grind.
No.
It's grind. It's play the same thing over and over and over again until you get a piece of gear that's worth your time.
Yeah.
So you could spend 4 hours playing the same strike, the same event over and over again until you get a piece of gear that levels you up 1 point.
Right.
1 point.
And then if you don't play that game for two days, though, you come back and that piece of gear is obsolete.
I mean, yeah, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
It is.
Like, if you get busy...
I mean, it was even worse because they had strategies like sunsetting, which is what they would do with old content. They wouldn't update it for the new content they'd released.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to use it. So they would sunset it and just not let you level it up.
Yeah.
Not let you acquire it at a higher level. And that, that would be even worse for people who are trying to keep the gear that they had accrued in the last season that they grinded for hours and hours for. And then now they have to grind for new gear and a new event for hours and hours and hours. Like that's it's not fun. It's not fun. It's a chore. It's like, oh, I gotta grind for 4 hours. Guess I better do nothing except play this game.
Right. And it's like punishing you for having other interests. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, even if you have other interests within video games, like, okay, yeah, I really like Destiny, but I also really like this game. You can't balance it, or you fall behind. Yeah. And then it's just like it's not fun anymore at that point. You know what I'm saying? So it's just an awful state. There's no subcategory of video games that's in a good state right now, with the exception of the couch co-op games that Nintendo. Even they have
that's like a subcategory.
It does feel like a subcategory because I mean a lot of those games are indie games at this point, if we're being honest. But it's fun. I mean, it's fun.
Honestly, Nintendo is like the biggest indie publisher if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like you don't think about them in the same context as you think of EA or Activision.
But you have shit like just simple stuff. You have stuff like Stardew Valley, which now has co-op, which is like great. Everybody loved that game, and now you can play it with your friends. It's Farmville. It's Farmville. It's Farmville, and people like it. I like it. It was a fun game. I put like 40 hours into that game in like 2 weeks.
If we talk about like the evolution, like it has to get worse before it gets better. Idea for the category and the genre of a looter shooter, I think that Outriders is the culmination of all of that. I think that it is honestly just based on the quality of life changes that have been implemented in this looter shooter, just from playing an hour of the demo, seeing all the options that they have available to you to change and how the progression is going to work. I think that we finally hit a head in the looter shooter genre, which is great for me because I love looter shooters.
Oh, as do I.
And it's not too quick. It throws a little bit much at you at the beginning, which
it's pretty straightforward.
I'm not a big fan of, but the gameplay is definitely straightforward, and it feels good to play with your friends.
And that's what people want. I think the problem, again, that Outriders is going to have is that they're just not an established franchise.
Yeah, I hope that it does well, and I hope that it releases in a good state. Because if it does not release in a good state, and this demo is great, it's great because it's showcasing all the issues, and they're hopefully going to be able to fix most of them by April. But if it fucks up, and for some reason, if even one day the servers are down, it's gonna fail.
Absolutely,
it's gonna fail.
Absolutely.
And this Company, People Can Fly, they're like not very well known. They've done
and I think that's gonna
couple games.
I think that's gonna hurt them more than anything.
Yeah,
but I think it can set a lot of real good precedent. Because other games are gonna look at the stuff that they use. Like I said at the beginning, of our discussion, I think that concept would be really popular in a more well-known franchise, or even in a new game coming from a well-known publisher or well-known studio, whatever, well-known developer, that kind of thing. That's the worst part about looter shooters, is sitting there and being like, do I want this? Do I want this? Do I want this?
Yeah.
But now it just auto loots for you. Cyberpunk, where you at, bro? Where you at, bro?
Dead.
True.
As far as the media goes. I mean,
That's
as far as hype goes.
That's so sad.
But that's if you look back at like how single player games normally come out, they come out and there's not even a whisper about them after they come out. Like,
do you think that would be different if there was the co-op and you could? Because I feel like the problem is like,
no, I think if it would have released in a better state and people wouldn't.
Well, I'm talking. I'm not talking about Cyberpunk. I'm talking like just single player games in general. Because I think that one of the biggest ways that games get attention right now is through streaming, through streamers, through streamers. And
well, I mean, to put that in perspective, Cyberpunk had like 1 million viewers the first week it was out.
Right, but then all the streamers beat the game, and then it was like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, they're not playing it all the time. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think if you had an expansive game that had a lot to do, and you had friends to play it with, I think that would have
Outriders.
Yeah, I think that would have maintained Borderlands 3 popularity had that just been a better game.
Yeah, as all in all, had it been more enjoyable at launch. Granted, it was fun to play through, and it was fun to
play with friends. It was fun game to play with friends.
But the grind was very straightforward. It was very much kill Grave Ward a bunch of times, who's a boss.
Yeah.
Just kill him a bunch of times.
I don't farm. If a game requires me to farm, see it.
I mean, that's if you wanted to like get max level and do
right.
You don't have to do that.
But again, if your friends do high level shit and you just like didn't put in the time to do high level shit, then it's just all of your desire to play the game.
That's they've kind of taken live service games have kind of taken the idea of an MMO and brought that to the masses.
Yeah,
kind of. I agree. Because like you think of a game like World of Warcraft, which is live service. It's like simple as that.
It's like
the original live service game. Like, that's intimidating because there's so much shit now. There's too much shit.
It's hard to jump in.
That is a hobby that you turn into your life.
Now, I will say that my recent experience with MMOs, I was really scared to jump in, and I'm glad that I did. I had a really good time. I haven't played it in a while, but the Old Republic, I thought it was going to be like, oh my god, I'm going to be so far behind. But they still get so many new players, or so many players who go back and play a new character, that you stay level just the whole way through.
Yeah, but there's also that aspect of it having a good story base, but then there's also it must become your life to be able to play it past a certain point.
See, I haven't gotten past that point. I've heard the expansions are all really good. I'm going to have to make...
That seems like they have a good balance of content that casuals can play, but also wets can play.
Well, because there's PvP, and there's a lot...
Typically, that's not really a factor in MMOs.
No, but I've heard people say that they really like the PvP. Because there's straightforward person v person PvP, and then there's like Starfighter PvP and a shit, and basically just getting a giant space fight, which
of course you want to do.
Like, yeah, who's not gonna want to do that?
Of course.
That's like everybody loved that about Battlefront, and then Battlefront said, "We're coming back, no space fights." And everyone was like,
and also, like one location to fight in.
Yes, here's 2 maps. And the OG like Battlefront 2 had like, I feel like 20 maps.
I had 20 maps.
Yeah. Something crazy like that.
Yeah, that shit. That was back when we would not pay for what we would get.
But I would say
we would get a game, we'd pay $40 for it, and it would be like $130 worth of content that you're getting to play for hours and hours and hours. Like those original Battlefront games, those should have been like $90.
And those are couch. I would argue those are couch.
Those
co-op
are couch
games.
co-op. Couch co-op compatible.
I remember just like lining up all the maps on all the different modes, like in a straight playlist, turning on all the cheats and playing for like 4 hours straight. Because it was fucking cool. Mm-hmm. Nobody needed it to be like, oh, I gotta be top of the leaderboards. I gotta do this. I gotta get the newest gear. People were just like, this is cool and it's fun. I'm satisfied.
Yep.
It cool. It fun. I want it in my buns.
I'm pretty sure I've exhausted all the topics I wanted to talk about today.
Yep. I'm going to put my Pokemon spiel in there because I'm really excited for both of them. I was really disappointed in the art style for the Gen 4 remakes. Really disappointed. I think it looks stupid.
It looks like it's meant for children.
But given what
Rather
I
than
think
being meant for a general audience,
given what I think they're trying to do with the game, what the purpose of it was, I think I'm okay with it. Because I think that everybody wanted a Gen 4 remake so bad, and they gave them that in a way that's going to draw in new players. Players whose first console was the Switch. People who haven't played Diamond and Pearl and Platinum and shit like that. And I think it's going to draw in a lot of new players. And I think that they timed it really, really well to have the Gen 4 remake come out at the end of 2021 and the
Legends of Arceus
come out at the beginning of 2022. I think that was a really good timing.
I honestly think that the reason they changed the art style of it was to distinguish it from Arceus.
I agree. Also, it was a different... Game Freak didn't develop it.
Arceus?
No, Game Freak didn't develop the
remakes?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Why would you put your main Pokemon studio on a remake?
That being said, I'm excited about Arceus. I mean, that looks like just such an interesting concept. I instantly got Gale of Darkness vibes.
The trailer is shot like Breath of the Wild's trailer.
It is, and like I'm gonna be honest,
weird.
It looks like graphic wise, it's not as good as Breath of the Wild, which is fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but there's more to. I feel like there's more to a Pokemon game than
the world looks expansive. I think it's really cool that we're going back in time, like to ancient, because every Pokemon game has that lore in it. You know, there's that old woman in whatever old as fuck town talking about ancient Pokemon, but you never see that. So for them to go back to that, I think is just concept wise. And again, we talked about this good concept does not equal good product, but I think it's laying a foundation for what could potentially be the best Pokemon product they've released in a really long time.
Legends of Arceus?
Yes.
Or Pokemon Legends Arceus. Right?
Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Okay. Which is a quite the name.
Yeah, but I think it's good because if that succeeds, you're gonna see that.
Well, we're gonna get a bunch of Pokemon Legends games then.
Which is gonna be fucking awesome.
I hope that it does well because everybody was like XD Gale of Darkness and what was the other one? There was Gale of Darkness, and there was Coliseum.
Yeah, but that was different. Pokemon XD was the one that was like semi-open world, a little bit.
I wouldn't even say semi. It was definitely open world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was awesome. I remember playing that game at my friend's house, and it was just
fantastic.
It was a grand old time. And hopefully this is a return to form for that stuff because...
I think it was. I think they knew, and I had said this going in, there's no way they didn't know that the 25th anniversary had to be a big deal. And I am encouraged by the fact that their presentation wasn't this big, giant, E3 level event. It was just like, hey, this is what we got coming for you. And it was just straightforward, bam, boom.
I mean, Nintendo's not one for showmanship.
No, but like the Pokemon Direct or the Nintendo Direct was long, and they've been known to have large scale Pokemon events. You know what I'm saying? You've seen the meme with all the giant Pikachus in the hotel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's Japan though. That's not Nintendo.
I'm just saying. I liked that it was like this is what you're getting. It wasn't Todd Howard saying
it just works.
Everything's great. It just works. No. It was straight to the point. I think they gave us enough to digest without oversharing, so that they can still work on some stuff. I'm happy.
Have you ever seen the Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands reveal trailer?
No, but that just the title.
Wait, no. Breakpoint. The Breakpoint reveal trailer.
Suicide Squad.
Holy
the
shit.
Fantabulous.
It's just this military guy going. It's this military guy going, and you're a man, and you crash landed, and we worked closely
interdimensional cable
with military personnel to develop the most realistic Tom Clancy's game to date. And then it comes out, and it's like the biggest piece of shit. They just ruined the Tom Clancy name.
Fuck.
The demo, there were so many problems in the demo that Chris and I couldn't even get through it.
I think reveal trailers just need to be... Until you have gameplay, I don't fucking care.
Oh, they showed gameplay.
Until you have a gameplay trailer.
Companies are starting to figure that out.
I think E3 sucks. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Well,
I think it sets the bar too high.
I think one of the... going back to the original company we were talking about earlier, BioWare, they literally just had a cinematic trailer for a Mass Effect game.
Yeah.
And all they did was show a Reaper ship and one of the ladies, the alien ladies from the original Mass Effect trilogy, and everybody was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "What?"
People freak out about that shit too.
You know they're gonna make another Mass Effect. It's their most popular franchise. You fucking idiots. People get hyped over the dumbest shit, and then when it comes out and sucks or is not as good as they hyped it up in their own head, then they get pissed, and we have a cyberpunk situation.
Yep.
But anyways, I think that's about done for the Chub today, boys.
I gotta go anyway. Late.
Isaac's gotta go. Thanks for watching.
I gotta go. Soccer.
One viewer. You're a champ.
Nightbot. Thanks for hanging in there.